my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. You were lost and gone forever, dreadful sorrow, Clementine. In a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, dwelt a miner 49er and his daughter Clementine. Yes, I loved her, how I loved her, though her shoes were number 9. Herring boxes without topses, sandals were for Clementine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. You were lost and gone forever, dreadful sorrow, Clementine. Well, boys and girls, I have a surprise for you. Yesterday afternoon, I went to a garage sale. I don't know why I did it, but I bought the cutest little trunk. I just thought it was so cute that I couldn't walk away without carrying it in my arms. It only cost me $7.84. Now, I'm wondering why the owner didn't just charge $7 or make it $8. Why add 84 cents? It's like a money mystery, don't you think? Well, guess what? Inside was a stack of crinkly old letters tied up in a bundle with a bright red ribbon. Of course, being a history teacher who likes old things, I was curious, so I opened one of the letters. Oh dear, I was so astonished that my mouth dropped open. I'll read it to you. When I was a little girl in Germany a long time ago, before I moved to Virginia City, Nevada, in the United States of America, I thought my name, Rosalia Przlupska, was a very beautiful, musical Polish name. Sometimes when I would stand in front of a mirror while brushing my long hair, I would say my name over and over. I felt as if I were singing a song. From this valley they say you are going. I would miss your sweet face and your smile, and my life it would be yours forever, if you only would stay here a while, and come sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley. Sweetheart, my love for you is true. I'm including a painting of myself so you know what I look like, since I'm Albert Michelson's mother. You can hang it up in the Science Museum if you like. When I was a young woman, I married a man named Samuel Michelson. He was a merchant, and we moved to Virginia City, Nevada, in the United States of America in 1855. We were Jewish. It was difficult for us sometimes because there weren't many other Jewish people in Virginia City at the time we lived there. It was definitely very hard on my son, Albert. He was my son. Albert Michelson. Oh, you already know that about me and him. He was 2 years old when we left Germany and sailed on a large ship up and down and across the ocean until finally landing in San Francisco, California. Eventually, but not right away, we traveled over the Sierra Mountains, through Reno, and up the mountain to Virginia City. Albert Michelson. Don't you think that is such a wonderful name? I enjoy saying his name over and over. I am a very proud mother. I think that hardly anyone knows who my son was and how important he was to the world of science, physics especially. He became so important that there is even a crater on the moon named after him. As we Jews say in Hebrew, Natzach. It means victory. I will tell his story because I want everyone in Nevada to know my son's name and what he did to become the first American, the very first American, to win the Nobel Prize in physics. The first, not Zach! When he was a little boy in Virginia City, other boys would make fun of him, call him terrible names, try to scare him, For two reasons. One, because he was Jewish, and two, because he was so smart. Oh, he was the smartest boy in Virginia City. In fact, he was so smart that in 1869, President Ulysses S. Grant, the great famous Civil War general, awarded Albert a special honor. He was the first Jewish boy to be admitted to the United States Naval Academy. He was an outstanding student in optics, heat, climatology, and technical drawing. Climatology. I can barely pronounce the word without my false teeth slipping and sliding all over my tongue. Then, when he graduated, he became a sailor. Then he became a teacher, an instructor in physics and chemistry at the United States Naval Academy. Then he worked at the United States Naval Observatory. And then he worked at universities in Germany and France. But do you know what he was really interested in? A big problem. Big problem scientists were trying to figure out for a very long time. How to measure the speed of light. In 1877, he conducted his first experiments on the speed of light. And in 1879, just 2 years later, he measured the speed of light. Nutsack! Victory! I, of course, don't understand the number 299, 940 kilometers per second, or 380 miles per second, 186,380 miles per second. My brain can't grasp that. It's too baffling for me. My son was a scientific genius, for sure. I do understand that he became a professor of physics at the University of Chicago, though, to be an honest woman, I really can't explain the science of physics. So, in 1907, my son, who was bullied, teased, tormented, and beat up by other boys in Virginia City, Nevada, won the Nobel Prize in Physics. Well, when they gave him the big award in Sweden, they said this, but I can't understand a word of what they were saying. For his optical precision instruments and the spectroscopic and metrological investigations carried out with their aid. Trying to say that makes my false teeth slip and slide around my tongue. Actually, to be totally honest, let me tell you, trying to say that sentence actually made my false teeth fall out of my mouth. Lucky for me, I caught them before they hit the floor. He married 2 times and had 3 daughters and 2 sons. You may call me Grandma Rosalia Przlipska Michelson, the grandma with the beautiful singing voice. Hava Nakila Hava Nakila Hava Nakila Fenes Meha Hava Nakila Hava Nakila Hava Nakila Fenes Meha Hava Neranana Hava Neranana Hava Neranana Fenes Meha Hava Neranana Hava Neranana Hava Neranana Venes Meha Ururahim Ururahim Belevseneya Ururahim Belevseneya Ururahim Belevseneya Ururahim Belevseneya Ururahim Ururahim Belevseneya. We each have our talents. What's your talent? Oh, wait. I really enjoy talking. Well, I should be honest and say bragging about my son. He wrote many scientific papers. Frankly, I don't understand most of them. Well, to tell the total honest truth, I don't understand anything my son wrote. For example, he wrote about the revolving mirror. I'll read it to you. The revolving mirror was made by Foth and Company of Washington. It consists of a cast iron frame resting on 3 leveling screws, one of which was connected by cords to the table at S Fig 3. so that the mirror could be inclined forward or backward, while making the two... Oh, never mind, because then he wrote about the fixed mirror, and, well, a mirror to him must be important for discovering scientific information. But to me, this uneducated woman, it's just shining glass, so I can see if my hair is brushed properly and there's no spinach stuck in my front teeth. But sometimes, when I would be doing housework, like cleaning mirrors, I'd be wondering just how did my son become so intelligent? My father, Abraham Preslewski, and my mother, they were Polish. They were Polish Jewish peasants. They weren't educated people. Oh, I'm so bad at numbers. I forgot to mention that I was 24 years old when I got married, and 26 years old when my husband and myself brought 2-year-old Albert to the United States of America. He was born December 19th, 1852. We came to America because we were afraid to stay back in Europe. Why? Because there were hateful people who hated us Jewish people. We were afraid. We went to San Francisco. Well, actually, it was a place called Murphy's Camp. It was a small place, a trading post with Indians and gold miners, men searching for gold. My husband's sister lived there. We set up a store, sold lots of shovels to the gold miners, pot-belly stoves too, and tents. We sure didn't meet any scientists there, so again, I have no idea where Albert got his notions for science. But I did give him and his sisters lots of books to read, and he learned to play the violin. Do you know that the most famous scientist in the world, Dr. Albert Einstein, also played the violin? Maybe nearly everyone who plays the violin has got in themselves a brain filled with collecting science information. Then, one of the most frightening things happened. Murphy's Camp all burnt down. The Great Fire of 1859, it's called now in history books, burnt down in less than an hour, the whole town. Life was hard enough with the Civil War in America going on. President Lincoln sure had it rough himself. We all supported him. We were against slavery. We moved to Virginia City, Nevada. It was a poor town high up on the mountain. Miners searching for silver. President Lincoln declared it a state in 1864. I never forgot the big celebration on the streets up there. Do you know how we got from the destroyed Murphy's Camp to Virginia City? By a wagon pulled by a mule. A mule! One of the slowest animals ever created. Sometimes I was so frustrated and bored, I thought of jumping out of the wagon and pulling the wagon myself. I could go faster than that mule, I swear. And guess what Albert was surprised to see in Virginia City? Camels! Who would have thought there would be camels in Virginia City? They were brought from China. I think they were brought there to carry salt over the mountains. I was terrified of those creatures. When they are really mad, they spit. But Albert loved them. He said they made him laugh. And that's good, because we and practically everybody else living in Virginia City didn't have much to laugh about, because we were so poor. We lived in a little wooden house on South C Street. My husband opened up a new store. I've come to believe, or at least convince myself, that Albert got his interest in science by always staring up at the sky. Virginia City had the prettiest skies. I mean, orange, blue, yellow, red sunsets and sunrises. And I'm going to share with you a secret. When Albert was a teenager, he took a train all the way, all by himself, to the White House in Washington, D.C. He met with the President of the United States. That was something a mother could really be proud of. Albert became known for his science discoveries, but when he was at the Naval Academy, his best subject was drawing, art. He was also an artist and violinist. He enjoyed drawing maps. All right, no one is perfect. As a student at the Naval Academy, he often got himself into a little trouble. For instance, the boys, girls, don't go to the Naval Academy. So it was only boys who were students, and they had strict rules. Like they weren't allowed to whistle in the hallways going to and from classes. Albert got caught whistling more than one time, let me tell you. And sometimes he played his violin on Sunday. That was against the rules too. One time, one of the science teachers had him write a lesson on the chalkboard. Trouble happened. The teacher was so astonished at Albert's intelligence. Well, the teacher accused him of cheating. He didn't cheat. The problem was, well, he was a student who was smarter than the teacher in chemistry, and that made the teacher angry. Oh, and he was very athletic. A boxer, a good fighting boxer. Albert proved a lot of people wrong when they thought that intelligent scientists and artists can't be athletic. Look at all the awards he won. And he was admitted into the Royal Society, the National Academy of Sciences, the American Physical Society, and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. I sound like a very proud mother, don't I? Sometimes it sounds as if Albert never relaxed. Oh, but he did. He loved to do watercolor painting and hike. Of course he loved nature. He loved looking up at the stars. I don't know if I once heard someone singing this song or I heard it in my head and never forgot it, but it reminds me of my son. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Another thing about my son that always has made me very happy is that he had a best friend. His name was Morley, Edward Morley. He was also a scientist, and also a classical musician. They did experiments together on the speed of light in water. The only thing I know about water is how to use it to clean everything. There is something about my son that always made me sad. He loved to work and study and experiment so much that sometimes he forgot to eat properly, so there were times he became very ill. But he had a great doctor at one time. His doctor was the grandson of the famous American Revolutionary War hero, Mr. Alexander Hamilton. He specialized in what they call nervous diseases. I have a paper here with me, something his doctor once wrote. Mr. Michelson is one of the brightest men of this country, if not of the world, in his chosen study. He is an accomplished man, very popular with those who know him. Now that is something to make a mother very proud. The real problem with my son, though, was, well, he had a difficult time relating to other members of his family. That's very saddening for me to admit. But none of us were as smart as him. There is that old saying, whether it's in English, Polish, German, or any other language, birds of a feather flock together. Well, then the day arrived when he was informed that he was to receive the Nobel Prize in Physics. The first American man to be given the prize. And he was Jewish. And he was from Virginia City, Nevada, a small town on a mountain just a few miles from Carson City and Reno, Nevada. That same year, the person who received the Nobel Prize in Literature was the famous writer Rudyard Kipling, who wrote The Jungle Book. Albert received the prestigious award in Stockholm, Sweden on Tuesday afternoon, December 10th, in the hall of the Royal Academy of Science. He was introduced as the big man of the American West. But something extra special happened in the Royal Hall. In the audience was a young man whom Albert had not seen or spoke to in 10 long years. His son, Albert Jr., my grandson. They were so happy to see one another again. It's not important for me to say why they were separated for 10 years, but I'll just give you a piece of advice. When parents get a divorce, neither the mother nor the father should make their children dislike the other parent, and no mother or father should stop taking care of their children when a family divorce takes place. That's all I'm going to say about the subject. My son died on May 9th, 1931, in California, near Santa Ana. A violinist played at his funeral. Albert always loved the violin. I think all the people over the world, if they ever go to Virginia City, Nevada, in the United States of America, should look up into the beautiful sunrises and sunsets and think of my son, Albert Michelson, who became an important scientist by looking up into the sky when he was a little boy. His energies fill the universe. I think his energies are mixed into the light that makes the universe bright. His body grew old, but his energies stay young. Like me! His very proud mother, Rosalia Przyslupska Michelson of Virginia City, Nevada. Well, boys and girls, I hope you found this letter as fascinating as I have. Of course, as a history teacher, I hope you enjoy studying history. I think science is so fascinating also. And, of course, Nevada history is so interesting. Oh, I'm also a singer. I'd like to sing a Jewish song for you before I say goodbye. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila Fenes Meha. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila Fenes Meha. Hava Neranana, Hava Neranana, Hava Neranana Venes Meha. Hava Neranana, Hava Neranana, Hava Neranana Venes Meha. Urakim, Urakim, Beliefs in Nea, Urakim, Beliefs in Nea, Urakim, Beliefs in Nea, Urakim, Beliefs in Nea, Urakim, Beliefs in Nea. Nevada people should be so proud of him. Besides the Nobel Prize for Physics, he was awarded the prestigious Rumford Prize, Medicucci Medal, Copley Medal, Elliott Cresson Medal, Henry Draper Medal, the Franklin Medal, and the Gold Medal from the Royal Astronomical Society.